Good evening, everyone. Time is 7 o'clock, so let us start on time. Thank you so much once again, all of you, for your active participation yesterday. And I welcome all of you in the day 2 session of our 2 days workshop. Dr. Shalini ma'am has already joined, and I request ma'am to kindly please take over the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. And a very good evening to one and all present here. So let's start our today's session. Let me share my screen first. I hope my screen is visible and I am audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start with this. So before we start, let me have a recap of what we did yesterday. That is the one topic that we did yesterday was the types of scales. Let me increase the font size as well. Okay. So you people remember the types of the scale. There was interval scale. There was ratio scale. There was nominal scale and ordinal. So these are the 4 kind of scales that everybody should know, right? Beyond this, everybody knows the difference between all. You remember this now? Nominal may, I gave an example like which phone do you like? Like Samsung, Apple, Oppo, right? So this is an example of a nominal scale, right? This is an example of a nominal scale. What is ordinal scale? Here, it is not important the sequence. Like you can put all these things in any of the sequence you like, right? The sequence is not important. Even if we talk about, let's say, age is between 0 to 20, 20 to 40, right? So this is also an example of a nominal scale. So what is an ordinal scale? Do you like the Suzuki cars? Yeah, do you like the services? Do you like the services of Suzuki cars? So on a scale, very unsatisfied, unsatisfied, neutral, satisfied, or very satisfied. So this is an example of a ordinal scale, right? Iske beyond, we talked about the ratio scale and interval scale, right? So interval scale, let's say temperature. Temperature is an example of an interval scale where 0, let's say -10, 0 and 0, 10. This is an example of an interval scale. Ratio scale mein, the example is we start with 0 as the base and it can go for anything else. Like example is height, weight, right? Profits. So these are the examples of a ratio scale. So this is one topic that we did yesterday. Another topic that we talked about was the basics of SPSS, right? And why do we use SPSS? So I told you this is one view of the SPSS. You can see here variable view, where you define the variables, right? You define the variables over here. And this is the next view that is called as the data view. Once the variable has been defined, so it will come here on the top of it. Once you define the variable, it comes on the top of it, and then you fill the data row wise. This is a data of the first respondent that I have filled. This is the data of the second respondent, third respondent with respect to these name, UID, Does it belong to management department? SPSS gender. So these are the variables on the top of it. These are the variables, right? And you fill the records row wise. These are the two views of the SPSS, right? So let me take you. So we did another thing that we did was yesterday descriptive statistics, where we talked about frequency and where we talked about frequency and descriptive statistics, right? So this is what we did. Let me take you to here. Just wanted to show you. Just see, this is the third window. This is the third window of SPSS, and that is called as the output window, right? So we did the frequency table that we have made here. And this is the third window of the SPSS. These are the three main windows of SPSS. So today we will be talking about the t-test, ANOVA, and synopsis, right? So what is important is t-test, ANOVA, and synopsis. Before this, we'll talk about the hypothesis. This is one topic that is very, very important. Hypothesis is an assumption. So these are the today's topic. Abhi hum kya karenge? Aaj. This is what we are going to talk about today. T-test, ANOVA, and synopsis. First of all, we talked about hypothesis. What is an hypothesis? It is an assumption that we make with respect to the objective of the study. Right? So there are two hypotheses. Let me take an example. Before we start with this, let me take an example. Let's start with an example. Let's say there is a monthly salary. This is a variable, one variable that we have. Another variable is the gender. So what are we talking about right now is hypothesis, right? I'm explain this with the help of an example. The hypothesis, I'll explain this with the help of an example, right? Let's say the objective is to understand whether there is a significant difference in the monthly salary of male and female. Let me repeat this here. So what we are doing is right now is hypothesis, right? So I'm explaining this term hypothesis with an example. Let's say we have two variables in our questionnaire. One is monthly salary and another is gender, right? So objective is to understand whether there is a significant difference in the monthly salary of male and female, right? We will, for an organization, will take the monthly salary, right, of the different people, and we will note down the gender of them, right? So this is an objective. So how do we test this? So for this, we have to make two hypotheses. Hypothesis 0, that is called as the null hypothesis. It means we always write this as there is no significant difference in the salary of males and females. So what is this? Let me write it first as the alternate hypothesis, where we say there is a significant difference in the salary of males and females. Let me remove the space in between the lines. Just let me move. Okay. Let me repeat this. What I'm doing is I'm talking about hypothesis, right? So I'm explaining it with the help of an example. Let me show you the example as well if you want. Just give me a minute. Look at this example. Okay. You can see here, this is the monthly salary. This is the monthly salary of the employees. And this is gender. Gender is defined by 1 and 2. So this is how you capture the data in SPSS for this, for different employees, right? Now, you want to know whether there is a significant difference in the monthly salary of males and females. What does this mean? It means, if a person is male, so he gets more salary than female, or that organization do not make any discrimination for this female and male. The same salary is given. Let's say there is an educational institute, right? So educational institute may, there is an assistant professor. There is an assistant professor. So, and has 10 years of experience, right? So the salary for males and females, let's say it is 1 lakh for both of them, right? So this is what we wanted to know, whether there is an assistant professor who has 10 years of experience. Does the male and female, both of them are getting 1 lakh salary, or there is a significant difference in the salary of male and female? Are you people able to understand? In between, you know that I wanted the... Are you able to understand? Okay, great. So this is what we wanted to check. So null hypothesis, for this, you have to understand that you have to have 2 hypotheses. One is denoted as this, null hypothesis, and where you always say, when we talk about null hypothesis, you always say there is no significant difference in the salary of males and female. And what is the alternate hypothesis? And this is denoted by H1. There is a significant difference in the salary of males and females. This is what you have to assume. Either of the statement, either of the hypothesis will be true. So hypothesis is a statement that defines the objective. So there is 2 hypotheses. One is null hypothesis and second is the alternate hypothesis, right? So one will be true. Either this will be true or this will be true. So how do we know that which one will be true? So if p-value is less than 0.05, I'll tell you how we see to this. If p-value is less than 0.05, we accept alternate hypothesis. Means what? If the p-value, I'll tell you later on, when we will do the numerical, when we'll do the t-test apply, actually when we'll apply, then I'll tell you what exactly does it mean. So when p-value is less than 0.05, we accept the alternate hypothesis. Reverse, when p-value is greater than 0.05, so we say we accept null hypothesis. What does it mean? This means there is a significant difference in the salary of males and females. Like, it means there is a discrimination in the salary of males and females that is given by the organization. But what if we accept the null hypothesis is true? So we say there is no significant difference in the salary of males and females. This is the concept of the hypothesis. I hope this is clear to all. Please raise your hands if this point is clear. This is a very small concept. This is a very small concept that I wanted to know. Okay, so let's proceed ahead. Right. So this is very, very important, hypothesis testing. Everybody should know about this, right? So let's move to the t-test today. T-test. The t-test is basically of 3 types, but today we'll talk about the 2 types of t-test. Because, normally, ek minute, let me tell you, paired sample t-test and independent. Actually, why I'm saying this? Because normally independent sample t-test is being more used and not anything else. Because, when you have a questionnaire, so normally in the questionnaire, we normally use this kind of a test that is called as an independent t-test. And I think we should give more emphasis onto this, that is called as an independent t-test, right? Paired sample t-test, I'll give you an example, but this is not very important, right? When we write papers, look, here I am talking more, I'm giving more relevance to the writing paper, right? So when we write paper, so we normally give importance to the independent sample t-test. This is very, very important, but still this is there in the syllabus, this is there in this. So I will also talk about the paired sample t-test, right? So, okay. So what are the conditions for applying t-test now? What are the conditions? First condition is that the dependent variable. Okay, nahi, aisa karte hain. Let's take this example first. Again, this example. I'll take it with the help of this example. Then I'll explain this. Okay. This is an example of a independent. This is the most important, independent sample t-test, right? What is the example for this? We'll start with an example and then we'll proceed ahead. Again, let's take 2 variables, monthly salary and gender. Gender is male and female, and monthly salary can be anything like this. I have already shown you, but let me show you once again. Let's say this is a gender. We have taken 2 variables in this. First of all, you know that you have to define the variable that is gender here and the monthly salary. I think you know how to do that now. Gender will be a nominal and monthly salary will be a ratio scale. It will be a ratio scale, right? So here pe scale we will be choosing. And this is the data that we have filled for monthly salary of the people and the gender, right? So what we are doing is, we are talking about the independent sample t-test, monthly salary and gender, right? What is the objective? To understand whether there is a significant difference in the monthly salary of male and female. This is the objective, right? So, इस case में, when we talking about the independent sample t-test, so what is important here? Here, this is important. This is your monthly salary is your dependent variable. Gender is your independent variable. What I'm trying to say is, monthly salary dependent on the gender. Gender is an independent variable here and monthly salary is a dependent variable. So in this case, it has to be a continuous variable and this has to be a nominal variable. Let me repeat this again. So what we are doing is, we are talking about the independent sample t-test where we have taken 2 variables, monthly salary and gender. Monthly salary is your dependent variable. It has to be a continuous variable. Please understand, it has to be a ratio or interval scale. ये याद रखना है. आप independent sample t-test, when are you going to apply the independent sample t-test? What are the things that is to be seen. The dependent variable has to be continuous variable, or it can be ratio or interval scale. The another variable, that is your independent variable, has to be a nominal variable. Nominal variable. Only then, let me, एक minute. Only then you can apply the independent sample t-test. ये सबको समझ आ रही है चीज? Is this point clear? Is this point clear to all? This is very important. You know, this is the first requirement when we are talking about this. So this is the first requirement, right? It can be, sorry, nominal or ordinal scale, right? So यहाँ पर when we are talking about this two things, इसका example, I can give you more examples onto this. This is one example. Let me give you another example. Marks obtained in one subject, right? For two sections. Right, marks obtained by the students in one subject. In business research is the name of the subject. So marks obtained by the students in this subject, and let's compare with respect to two sections A and B. So what we are trying to see here is there any significant difference in the marks of two sections, that is A and B? We are trying to see whether A section has got more marks or B section has got less marks. Like this is, or there is no significant difference in both the section. Both the section students are very intelligent. So this is what is your independent sample t-test, right? And this is the requirement. Same for this will be our hypothesis. This again will be our hypothesis. Like this you have to write. When we are writing this into your paper, so this whole thing has to be written like this. You have to write the objective. You have to define the variables. You have to write the null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. There is no significant difference in the names of males and females. There is a significant difference in the salary of males and females, right? So now let's apply the independent sample t-test. So I have got this with me. So let's see. I will share this file with you as well. And you know, here in this only, I have written everything over here with respect to this independent sample t-test. यहाँ पे लिखा भी है, this is a t-test file. I'll share this with you. And I have written here null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis, and what if p-value is greater, then we accept null, otherwise we accept alternate. Everything is written over here. So it will be of great help to all of you, right? So I'll share this file with you. So let's see how do we actually do this into the SPSS. Go to analyze. Compare means. This is very important. If you have to apply certain test, right? So this command is very, very important. Analyze this. Analyze, compare means, independent sample t-test. Click onto this. So what is our test variable? That is the average monthly salary and gender, right? Grouping variable, it is asking gender. Acha, let me tell you one more important thing before doing this. You have to understand the gender can be categorized into two parts. That is male and female. Only then it can be applied. Let's say educational qualification. So the person can be primary passed, secondary passed, the person can be graduate, the person can be postgraduate. Yahan par you can see this independent variable. Like, let me give you an example of two independent variables. Let's say we have, two independent variables. Gender we categorize into two parts, that is male and female. Educational qualification we can categorize into more than two parts. So you know, when we the independent variable can be categorized only into two parts, then we apply the independent sample t-test. But if you have to monthly salary with, अगर आपका objective ये हो जाए monthly salary monthly salary with educational qualification. Then you will be applying ANOVA here. Same rule is being followed for the independent sample t-test and for the ANOVA. What is that rule? That is the monthly salary. That is your dependent variable has to be continuous variable, ratio or interval. And the independent variable, यहाँ पे educational qualification, it can be nominal scale or the ordinal scale. But there is one more condition for this ANOVA, that the independent variable can be categorized into more than two. But when we are applying the independent sample t-test, so it can be categorized only into two parts. That is, here the example is male and female. I hope it is clear till here. Please raise your hands if it is clear. Any question, any doubt till here? किसी को कुछ पूछना है इसमें? Any question? Okay. So let me proceed ahead. This means I can understand. So everybody has understand the difference between the t-test, independent sample t-test and ANOVA, right? So this is okay. So we were talking about here. Okay, यहाँ पर what we have done is test variable is the dependent variable it is asking, and grouping variable is gender. So you have to define groups here. 1 is for male and 2 is for female. This is continue and continue. So these are the results that you get over here. So these are the two tables that we get. Let me put this into my file, Word file. This is one table that we have got in the output window. And this is the another table that we have got. So let me put it here. Okay, now. Right. So these are the two tables that we have got. Let me a little bit decrease the size. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me. Okay. So that we can see the whole of it on the single page. Anyways, okay. So you can see here. What we can see here is male and female. This is the descriptive statistics. What I told you yesterday was, जिसका भी आप लेना चाहते हैं descriptive statistics, you can take that. So there is a mean. Mean for the male members is more and female members is a little less. Not much difference between the two. You know? Not much difference between the two. So this is one thing. Next table is, this table will decide whether there is a significant difference in the salary of males and females, right? So first of all, what you will be testing, just let me explain this. This is the Leibniz test, ye wala sirf. The one that I have highlighted. So we have to see only this first. So Leibniz test for equality of variance, right? This is the F value and the significant value. This is the significant value, right? So what did we find here as? Here, the P value, the Leibniz test for equality of variance, the P value is greater than 0.05, right? If this value is greater than 0.05, so what you will be looking at, you will be, look, there is a two results that you can see for the t-test. One is equal variance assumed, equal variance not assumed, right? So when this Leibniz test, first you have to see only this column, two columns. Leibniz test for equality of variance, F value and significant value. You have to look at this value. So if this value is greater than 0.05, look at this. If Leibniz test में for equality, Leibniz test में P value is greater than 0.05, then what will you look at? Equal variance assumed. Matlab, you have to see, look at this. You can see now, this is your t-test result. Ye wale ab. This is your t-test result. Look at this. This is Leibniz test and this is the t-test results, right? So this is divided into two parts, t-test. One is equal variance assumed upar wala and equal variance not assumed niche, right? So there are two results that is given. So which one you will be choosing? It depends on this value. So if this value is greater than 0.05, you will choose the above one, right? So this is the t-test value. This is degree of freedom, and this is the significant value. Now you have to look at this 0.428. Now the p-value for t-test here, the p-value is greater than 0.05. So what is the hypothesis that you will assume from this? We accept null hypothesis. It means what? It means there is no significant difference between the salary of males and females. हमने यही कहा था ना? एक minute, let me take you to this. If p-value, then accept the null hypothesis, otherwise accept the alternate hypothesis. So हमारा यहाँ पर क्या है result? What is the result that we have got here? We have got here is, what is the p-value? For t-test, p-value is greater than 0.05. So we accept the null hypothesis. There is no significant difference between the salary of males and females. तो आप यहाँ से भी देख सकते हो इसमें, the mean values, the difference in the mean values is not much. It is almost similar, right? So we can say this. तो हमने यहाँ पर ये जो सारा लिखा था, this all you have to mention. Please understand, ये आपको नहीं लिखना है. This is what you not have to written. कि independent variable has to be nominal or ये. Otherwise, most of the things, objective you have to write. You have to write the hypothesis. You have to write this descriptive statistics. You have to put this table as well. That is an independent sample t-test table, right? So for this independent sample t-test, all these tables has to be written. And I can show you. Ek minute, let me see if it is there or not. This is how you have to write. ये सारी values. You have to write it like this. An independent sample t-test. When you have to write into your paper the explanation for these two tables. यही जो दो tables अभी हमने करे थे. For the explanation for these two tables, this is how you have to write. Please look at this. यहाँ पर you have to write. ऊपर का तो सभी लिखना ही है. Like these things has to be written. Two tables has to be made. This is all has to be written like this. Let me write it here. This is hypothesis. Objective, null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. Uske baad the explanation that you have to write is like this. An independent sample t-test was conducted to compare the salary of males and females. There was significant, not significant difference, right? T is 65. T degree of freedom. This is degree of freedom is equal to 7.97 and p value is 0.428. Look at this. The degree of freedom in the bracket. In the score, with the score, mean score value of males, standard deviation with higher than the magnitude of difference in the mean is this, with the confidence interval this and this. Like this you have to write. And hence H0 was supported that there is no significant difference between the salary of males and employees. I hope it is clear to all. Please raise your hands if t-test, independent sample t-test is clear to all. Any questions or any, I'll send you this also, how to write this, the explanation when you are going to write this in your paper. I'll send all these material to everyone. I hope it is clear. So let's move ahead with the next test.
Ma'am, may I ask one thing?
Hanji Bharti ji.
Ma'am, if I want to test impact of independent variable on dependent variable, this is my hypothesis. I want to test the impact of, is there any impact of the independent variable on the dependent variable? Then also we can do this independent t-test.
I'm not able to. This is what is there. Independent variable पे ही impact दे, dependent variable पे ही तो देखते हैं हम independent variable का impact. This happens in regression, everything.
ओके नो बिकॉज यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने मैम डिफरेंस को चेक किया ना, इज देयर एनी सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टू वेरिएबल्स.
हाँ.
पर अगर
अच्छा,
इम्पैक्ट टेस्ट करना है कि
regression that we will talk about
तो
regression.
t-test इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल हियर.
t-test तो significant difference के लिए होगा ना.
ओके लेकिन इम्पैक्ट अगर
Significant
रिलेशनशिप
difference.
अगर देखना तो
हाँ,
Okay,
वो
okay.
आप ये वाला एग्जाम्पल होता है ना आपका, ये जो रिग्रेशन में हम करते हैं. रिग्रेशन के अंदर हम करते हैं ना, लेट्स से देयर इज अ, मैं ये बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल देती हूँ. लैंड आउटपुट इन अ लैंड किस चीज पे डिपेंडेंट होगा? रेनफॉल, क्वालिटी ऑफ सीड्स, ये इस तरह से. सो वी ट्राई टू चेक दिस आउटपुट इन अ लैंड किस किस पे, रेनफॉल, अमाउंट ऑफ रेनफॉल, क्वालिटी ऑफ सीड्स प्लस प्लस प्लस. तो यहाँ पे रिग्रेशन लग जाएगा ना आपका. यहाँ पर तो हम सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस पूछ रहे हैं. ये फर्क हो गया ना. आई
यस
होप
मैम.
है ना. Yeah. So let's move to there is another test as well that is called as a paired test. Right? उसको भी हम थोड़ा सा जल्दी से कर लें. Paired sample t-test. Paired sample t-test के अंदर होता है before and after. इसमें क्या होता है basically, let's say weight. Let's say weight of people before okay, not like this. Let me take this example like this. Let's say there is a doctor that promises that if you take his medicine, the weight will be reduced. So what happens is, there is, let's say, 10 people who weighs themselves and they started taking the medicine of that doctor, and they want to check whether there is a significant difference in the weight of those people after taking the medicine. So before and after, weight of the people before and after taking medicine. This is what is your paired sample t-test. यहाँ पे before and after we are going to check कि like medicine लेने के बाद, if the person is taking the medicine of a particular people, so is there any significant difference in the weight before and after? This is one example. Let's say there is let's say there is a assistant professor or college. So the training is given to employees, right? So the IQ level of the people that increased before, after taking the training, right? So before and after, IQ level is checked. This is again an example of a paired sample t-test. This is before and after, right? So let me open my file over here. Let me, just give me a minute. Okay. Let me take you to an example straight away. Where is it? Yeah, paired sample t-test. Okay, तो इसके अंदर हमने क्या किया? There are two variables, V1 and V2. What is V1? weight before taking the medication, weight after taking the medication, right? So I have put the sample over here of the people before and after taking the medication, right? So let's see. Go to analyze, go to compare means and paired sample t-test. This is paired sample t-test, right? So weight before, we will put it here like this. Second variable will put like this. ये इधर इकट्ठा आएगा. It will come variable 1 and variable 2. What we are trying to do is we are trying to compare these two variables, right? Before and after. So click on OK. So what is the result that we will get? You know, this test is comparatively less used. This is not used much. We do not use this test much, but still today it is there. So I'm telling you, but otherwise it is not very important, right? When we talk about the ये paper writing, जब हम कोई paper लिखते हैं उसमें ये test बहुत कम use होता है, तो will not give much more emphasis onto this. We'll move directly to ANOVA and then synopsis writing. So again, this is the mean. This is the descriptive statistics, and this is the correlation table. The correlation between the two things, that is, and it has come out to be significant. And this is highly correlated. Both of them are highly correlated and they are significant. The result is significant. When we talk about the correlation may whether the two variables are correlated or not, and they're significantly, this result is significant, so yes, it is significant. 0.05 say if it is less than 0.05, so means the relationship between the two variables is significant, right? And this is the important thing here. What we have to test is we have to see this significant value. This is your t-test. This is degree of freedom, and this is the significant value. And this value is less than 0.05. Can you see to this? ये दिखाई दे रहा है ना सभी को? Let me put it here then. This is one table. Okay. This is what is important for us, t-test, degree of freedom, because we have to write about this only. Okay. So this is a table that is talking about a correlation between the two variables. Correlation means it can be a positive correlation. If there is a minus sign, then it means negatively correlated. Positively correlated means if one moves up, another also moves up. Right? Neutral, there is no correlation. Negative correlation means if one moves up, other moves down. यहाँ पर positive or significant. The relationship between two variables is significant. Now, what is important for us to see here is like this. So यहाँ पर you can see the p-value is less than 0.05. So what does it mean? You will tell, all will tell. Do we, sorry, it is less than, sorry. P-value is less than 0.05. So what will we accept? We will accept alternate hypothesis or null. Bataएं. I want the participants to please speak onto this. P-value is less than 0.05. So we accept alternate or null hypothesis. Somebody please. Anji. कोई भी बोल सकता है please.
Alternate hypothesis हम accept.
Alternate. Very nice. So what we will do is we will accept the alternate hypothesis over here. It means there is a significant difference in the weight before and after. Is this clear to all? Is it clear to all? Iska bhi write up, I'll share it with you. This is how do we to write about this. I'll share this with you. This is how we write the write up. If this is there in the paper, so how do we write this? This is there. Like T degree of freedom is equal to T key value. This is minus 4.773. P value is less than 0.05 due to the means of and the direction. This is another example, but you can see how to report this result. अभी मैंने आपको independent sample t-test का दिखाया था. So similarly, you can report the result. How do you report the result when you have carried out the paired sample t-test? How to report this? So this is how you have to report it. T into degree of freedom is equal to this value, T value. Can you see to this? And P value is less than 0.005 due to the means of two jumps. Here, this is another example. So that is why I'm telling you. We can conclude that there was a significant improvement in jump distance following a polymetric trail from 2.48. Right? From 2.48. Right? And with the standard deviation, this meters to 2.52, and this is how you write the output of the paired sample t-test. I hope it is clear to all. Any questions till now? किसी को कुछ पूछना है? Anything else? Is it clear? Is it clear? ये जो मैंने कराया ये सबको clear हुआ? Please raise your hands if it is clear. Others also please respond. Okay, nice. ठीक है. So let's move to the third test of today, and that is called as ANOVA, right? ANOVA. I already gave an example. तो मैं इसमें आपको उसी example पे लेके चलती हूँ. Let me take you to this. Let me copy this over here, right? So we are talking about the one-way ANOVA. ANOVA में MANOVA वगैरह भी होता है, but today we'll talk about only ANOVA. Okay. So again, monthly salary, dependent variable, continuous ratio और interval. Gender नहीं है यहाँ पर क्या है? Educational qualification. ये मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था. इसमें जो आपका independent variable है, that can be divided into more than two parts, like primary, secondary, graduate, postgraduate. ठीक है? तो monthly salary with educational qualification. Then we do it with ANOVA, right? So what is our objective? To understand whether there's a significant difference in the salary of primary pass, secondary pass, graduate level और पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट. तो यहाँ पर हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव ये सब कुछ आपने लिखना है. when you are doing this ANOVA test, so you have to write each and everything, like बस ये छोड़ देना ये वाली चीजें. So everything is to be written into the paper. Objective to understand whether there is a significant difference in the monthly salary of primary pass person, secondary pass, graduate or postgraduate. So what is your null hypothesis? There is no significant difference in the monthly salary of primary pass, secondary pass, graduate और postgraduate. यहाँ पे hypothesis थोड़ा सा change हो जाएगा, है ना? And similarly in the monthly salary of this. I hope this is clear, है ना? So let's move with an example here. Let me close down the other ones. Okay. So यहाँ पर I have taken, you can see here, I have taken two variables, education and monthly salary. So education में you can see I have divided them into three parts: primary, graduate, and postgraduate. Right. And you know, like t-test, I have written everything over here as well. Look at this. Objective is to find out the educational qualification is impacting the monthly salary or not. Hypothesis, null hypothesis, alternate, p-value, everything is written here, and I'll share this file again with you. ठीक है? तो ये हमारा दो वेरिएबल्स आ गए. ये आपकी सारे ना ये आपकी डेमोग्राफिक प्रोफाइल में से वेरिएबल्स मिलेंगे आपको. जब आप एक क्वेश्चनर बनाते हो, yesterday I told you it has two parts. Every questionnaire has two parts. One is the demographic variable, जहां पर आप डिफाइन करते हो, डेमोग्राफिक वेरिएबल्स के बारे में पूछते हो रिस्पोंडेंट से, एंड अनदर इज द मेन क्वेश्चनर पार्ट. राइट. सो ये these tests you can apply them. These tests will be applied in the demographic variables. Right. These two variables, educational qualification and monthly salary, can be taken from the demographic profile of the respondent. ये बात समझ में आई है? Have you got this point? Or let me show you this. मैं एक बार आपको दिखा भी देती हूँ. What I'm trying to tell you is, let me show you the questionnaire. Look at this. This is the questionnaire that we talked about yesterday. So age group, educational qualification. Look at this. And यहाँ पर there is another question that we can write here is fifth question, that is the monthly salary. So what I'm trying to tell you, let it be open-ended question, है ना? Let it be an open-ended question. This is an open-ended question. So here, when we are okay, yesterday there was a question that was raised whether we should take this as open-ended or close-ended. So now we are more interested in carrying out the ANOVA test. So we are more interested in this as an open-ended question. Open-ended, right? So यहाँ पर what I'm trying to tell you is, these questions are consist of the demographic profile of the respondent, right? So जो t-test and ANOVA है, basically you are applying this in the demographic profile in our examples, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Let's move to the ANOVA test. How do we do that? Go to analyze, compare means, and one-way ANOVA. Go to analyze, compare mean, and one-way ANOVA. Click onto this. Let me reset this once again. Dependent variable is our average monthly salary. Educational qualification is factor. You will put here it into the factor, right? So you go to options. Go to options. What is important? This is very important. Homogeneity of variance test. Please, this is for the Leibniz test. Again, यहाँ पर भी we will be seeing first the Leibniz test. And for this Leibniz test, what is to be clicked? Homogeneity of variance test and descriptive statistics as well, right? And then continue. पहले हम इतना ही करते हैं, right? Let's do this only. So let me repeat this once again. What I have done is go to analyze, compare means, and one-way ANOVA. So average monthly salary is your dependent list, and what is your factor? Educational qualification. And then go to options. ये चार यहाँ पर options है, उसमें go to options and click on descriptive and homogeneity of variance test. Homogeneity of variance test will give you the Leibniz test. So let's do this till now here and then click OK. We'll move again back to this test. Just give me a minute. Okay. So this is the first table that is called as a descriptive table. Let me put it into this thing. Let me close the extra files over here. Okay. Okay, so हमारा ये what is the first table that we have got? This is the descriptive statistics. So it is talking about primary, graduate, and postgraduate, and the mean for the this thing. Excuse me. So what we have got is average monthly income of the people, and with the primary education, graduate, and post graduation. So this is the mean, right? Standard deviation, and this is what it is. This is the first table that we have got. So what is the second table? This is again is important. This is the Leibniz test. This is again very, very important. I'll tell you, just give me a minute. And this is ANOVA table. Okay, so these are the three tables that is important. Now, just look at this here. Again, what you have to see, this is the Leibniz statistics. Like in t-test, we have seen the Leibniz statistics. Again, we will be seeing here as the Leibniz statistics. What do you see here? Here, the p-value is greater than 0.05. So what we will assume, what we will take, equal value. What is that? Just give me a minute. Equal value assumed. What is the name? Equal variance assumed, right? So what we will equal variance assumed. So what we will do is, यहाँ पर ना एक post hoc test भी होता है, वो उसमें use होगा. I'll tell you this thing. Okay, सबसे पहले what we have seen is this is the Leibniz statistics, and the value p value is greater than 0.05, right? So just keep in mind that we have to use the equal variance assumed, right? I'll tell you where it will be used. In the meantime, let's move to the ANOVA table, and you can see the results are significant here. यहाँ पर p value is less than, यहाँ पर p value is less than 0.05. So what we will assume here is we will accept alternate hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis means what? There is a significant difference between the monthly salary of graduate, postgraduate, and primary pass. ये सबको समझ में आ रहा है? So there is a significant difference between the monthly salary of graduate, postgraduate, and primary pass person, right? तो ये आप यहाँ से भी you can see this here as well. You can see the mean value. There is a significant difference in the mean value as well. Can you see the mean value of the primary person is 5705. This is the mean value of the salary of the primary pass person. Look at this. And graduate is 11,000 and postgraduate is 17083. So it is getting higher, higher, and higher. So what do you conclude from here? If a person is postgraduate, he's getting more salary. If a person is graduate, he's getting a little less salary, and primary person is getting a less salary. So there is a significant difference, right? So we assume the alternate hypothesis that there is a significant difference between the salary of graduate, postgraduate, and primary pass, right? Now let's get back. Abhi, we have not completed this test. So what is now is important. Abhi, we wanted to see, let's go back again, one way ANOVA, post hoc test. So what I wanted to tell you was, if here the Leibniz value, this is less than 0.05, यहाँ पर होता, so what we would have selected, we would have selected this, equal variance not assumed. We would have selected out of this test, we would have selected, but now it is greater than 0.05, we will select equal variance assumed, and we'll select to case test and then continue. Post hoc test, let me tell you what exactly it is. पोस्ट हॉक टेस्ट होता है. Post hoc test tells you like there are three category of things. Like there are graduate people, there is a primary pass and a postgraduate. So like there is a significant difference. So what is creating a significant difference? Let me tell you with an example now here. Okay, this is the table. Let me copy it here. Look at this. This is a table, multiple comparison. 1:1 comparison is possible now. Look at this. Primary pass with graduate, primary pass with postgraduate, primary with primary. Primary with primary तो होएगा ही ना? Sorry. ये ऊपर नीचे हो गया, sorry. Primary with graduate and primary with postgraduate. So you see primary, if it is compared with a graduate person, so there is a significant difference in their salary. If the person is primary and postgraduate, so again there is a significant difference. So person is a graduate, uska primary se if you compare, there is a significant difference. Postgraduate se bhi, postgraduate. So multiple comparison. So with the help of post hoc test. So post hoc test kya karta hai? Multiple comparison. Look, let me tell you one thing here. यहाँ पर अगर if you talk about only the ANOVA test, look at this ANOVA test. So it is giving you a result in totality. So you are not able to understand which one is leading which. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to tell you is like यहाँ पर when we are talking about this. हाँ जी, any question? ये सबको समझ में आ रहा है? Please raise your hands if you are able to understand this ANOVA test especially. Okay. So let me explain this again. So when we see this is a collective result. When you see the ANOVA table, it gives you a collective result that there is a significant difference in this, right? But if you want to see exactly which one is causing which, so let's say let's say यहाँ पर आता 80, right? So it means primary or graduate level people salary may there is not much significant difference, but right, primary or postgraduate person is having a significant difference in their salary. So graduate with primary person, there is no significant. Graduate with postgraduate, there is not postgraduate with. मतलब यहाँ पे you can do the multiple comparison out here. Can you see to this? So post hoc test gives you a multiple comparison. So so which like from this, which one you will compare means post hoc test will be applied later on by seeing the Leibniz test. You have to see the results of the Leibniz test here, and you have to see which test you will be applying. So will you be applying the equal variance assumed, or will you be applying the equal variance not assumed, right? So in this case, we have applied the Tukey's test, right? Equal variance assumed. So this is how you will be doing the ANOVA test. And let me give you an example. This is another example with me. And इसके अंदर आप लिख सकते हो किस तरह से इसको किस तरह से इसको लिखना है. This is how you have to write it. The analysis last में जो आपने देना है, how you will be giving this. It is here. What I will do is like I will send you this file as well, right? How to write this. So it will help you in writing your analysis part as well, right? तो यहाँ पर पूरा लिखना है. The hypothesis, if the salary of employees differ across the different educational level, participants were divided in 3 groups: primary education, graduate, and postgraduate. ANOVA test suggests the scores of this. So it is to be written like this, right? So because I think there is a shortage of time, and if I have to talk about the synopsis writing, so let me start with this without fail. Is this clear to all? Before this, I want to ask if it is clear to all, and we can move ahead with that. So let's move to the last topic of today, and that is called as a synopsis writing, right? Take this. So last topic is synopsis writing. ये मुझे लगता है गलत डल गया है ना, पता नहीं बाकी. Let's see. So how many of you are doing your synopsis? Have you people written your synopsis right now? Okay, anyways. So how many of you writing your synopsis? Can you raise your hands? Okay, maybe there are people. Okay, let me tell you this. अभी तक के लिए तो कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है ना? We don't have any questions till now. जितना भी अभी कराया उसमें से there is no question, right? So we can proceed ahead, I feel. So let's proceed ahead. That is called as a synopsis writing, right? सबसे पहले what is important in synopsis writing is the objective of the study. और सबसे पहले is to find out the research gap with the help of existing literature. Right? So when you are writing your synopsis, so what is the first step that you have to do? That is, you have to find out the research gap with the help of the existing literature. Let me take you to one of my papers. That is, I have made this. Let me show you this. This is the paper. This paper is published. So that is why I'm showing you right now. So, you know, what is very, very important for you all is just look at this. What I'm trying to show you is the diagram. Okay. So, आपको भी ना, when you are writing your synopsis, you know, the most important step is to find out the gap. And with the help of a gap, you are able to set your objective and develop a model of this. It is when you are writing your synopsis, I would tell each and every student, every person, just make a model like this. And with the help of this model, write the different objectives of your study. Like model develop करें, आप सबसे पहले research gap से ये find out करें which are the variables that are not studied till now, है ना? जैसे आप कोई टॉपिक लेते हैं, लेट्स से आप टॉपिक लेते हैं green bonds. That is very close to my heart, you know, this topic. And one of my PhD student, she is also doing on green bonds. So what you will do is, you will study the literature, what all studies has already been done on this topic that is called as a green bond earlier, right? And what are the variables that has not been studied till now? So there is how you do that. Let me take you, there are two ways of doing it. There is a site that is called as a Google Scholar. Go to Google Scholar, put your topic here, what you want to study, right? It is coming out, just give, yeah, okay. So यहाँ पे put करिए green words, just right. Now you see there are number of papers that has come out. Read these papers, read all the papers, and try to find out the variables that has not been used till now, right? This is one way. Second way is scopus.com. You know, this is a database. Scopus is a database. Web of Science is a database. There is one thing that is important. You may not be having an access to this databases. So try to, क्या हो गया? Scopus.com. There is some error. I don't know what is it.
Ma'am, I think it will work with the university Wi-Fi.
Yeah, let me check. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So ये हो गया. तो इसके अंदर what I told you was to how to find out the research gap. So one way of doing is Google Scholar website है ये. You put your topic and all the papers that has come out, just read those papers and try to find out the variables that has not been studied till now. What is the another way? Another way is with the help of the Scopus or Web of Science. So what you can do is you put it here as green bonds. Click onto this. The number of papers will come. बहुत सारे papers आएंगे. 1, 2, 4, 5 papers has come. Right. तो यहाँ पर you can put restrictions onto this. Limit कर सकते हो आप. So it will be 363 articles if you limit this. Final. That's it. English ones. So now you have got here as I think how many papers do we have got? 222 documents, right? So now export these all the documents in a file, CSV file, and read it. Export it. You know, this Scopus or Web of Science बहुत कमाल की चीज बनाई है. So you know you can read at least the abstract of all this. You see, this has come out. Look at this. This is a file for, you see, this one is a complete document and there is abstract. So you need to read the abstracts, and with the help of the abstracts, what you can do is you can find out the research gap, right? So research gap, when you are able to find out, you just make a diagram and set your objective like this, right? Set your objectives. This is the most important thing. Literature review. Literature review, you can do it from this CSV file. Can you see to this file? This is a CSV file of the documents that is on the green box, right? So in your literature review, you can quote all the papers that is important. You know, all the papers might not be important because, you know, it is not possible to quote 222 papers. So what you will do is only the important papers you will keep it. Rest of the papers you can delete from here. And so there is another section. There is another section that is review of literature here. So you write down your review of literature. Let me show you one of my students' review of my student synopsis. Let me take you to this. Introduction to, obviously, you know, but the most important part for your this is to set the objective, and that has to be a proper objective. Let me show you. Introduction, everybody can write, right? Introduction, that is not a problem. So this is a review of literature. Just look at this. So review of literature, I already told you how to do that. Even if you are getting the papers from the Google Scholar website like this, so you can write the review of literature with the help of these papers as well. Like you can click on each of the paper and you can cite. यहाँ पर एक button होता है that is called as a cite. You click onto this. You click onto this. You get the different citation styles. So whichever citation style you want, you can take it from here. This is Google Scholar में ना. This is this is an advantage that you get a different styles, you know. So yahan se you can cite the paper and abstract. You can click onto this paper, right? Open this in new window and take out the abstract from this. And you cite this into your paper like this. So I'm showing this about one of my students' synopsis. So review of literature. Introduction is the first step. What is the first thing? Let me repeat this again. एक बार दोबारा से करते हैं इसको. Synopsis writing. What is the first thing that you have to do? You have to find out the research gap with the help of existing review of literature. Then you set the objective, right? And make diagrams. यहाँ पे make diagram. ठीक है? Let me show you this only first. This is my student's synopsis. Let me show you what she has done. The research gap is another heading. Need and significance of the study. Objective. Look at this. She has 4 objectives. Look at this, the model that she has made for first objective. This is only for the first objective, the model that she has made. Iske niche, the hypothesis of this model. Second objective, again another diagram. And the hypothesis. Third objective, this is on a conjoint analysis, so that is why it is a little different. Fourth, so look at this and this. So this is the most important part. Rest of the things will be in place of its own. But what is the most important part in synopsis writing is to find out the research gap with the help of existing literature. वो आपने कर लिया. उसके बाद you will set your objective and make diagrams. This is the most important part in the synopsis writing, right? और यहाँ पर you can take the help of Google Scholar. You can take the help of scopus.com, Web of Science. These are the two other databases, scopus.com and Web of Science. Scopus.com or Web of Science में you will get this kind of a CSV file. Same, even from the Scopus database or Web of Science, you will get almost the same kind of a CSV file, right? So let me close it. So, right? So to find out the research gap with the help of existing literature, so you can use the 3 sources. One is Google Scholar, scopus.com or Web of Science, right? So यहाँ पर you have to write the literature part, review of literature, and then objectives and make diagrams like this. This is always good. If you have a primary data survey data, so try to make a diagrams. It is obviously based on the objective of your study, but try to make something like this. Right? And synopsis writing में यहाँ पे this is what is the first step, introduction. फिर इसके बाद you can write with the introduction of the study. Second is review of literature. Third is ये अब आपको फॉर्मेट फॉलो करना है, उसके लिए है ये need and significance of the study. Fourth is objective of the study. Next is, fifth is research methodology. यहाँ पर you do not have to be very elaborate. You just have to mention what are the tools and techniques that you are going to use. Just let me show you this. Because, look at this. The proposed study will be descriptive come exploratory in nature. The data will be corrected to primary as well as secondary sources. And let me tell you what I'm trying to tell you. Sampling method, statistical tool. Look at this. Based on the information collected, we will check the normality of the data. Also, Cronbach alpha for each variable will be calculated to check the reliability of the responses. We will apply SEM to test our hypothesis. We'll also perform conjoint analysis. Tentative software that will be used for the studies SPSS and AMOS. So what I'm trying to tell you here is you do not have to write in depth about the research methodology. Only the tentative software that you will be using, you will be talking about this. And same here, because when you are writing it, जब आप पेपर लिखते हो एक्चुअल वहां पर आप इन डेप्थ research methodology you give it, but when you are writing only the synopsis, you do not give an in-depth. You just write down that you will be applying the SEM, and tentative software that you will be using is SPSS and AMOS. And last heading will be your tentative chapter scheme. क्या रहेंगी आपकी tentative? This is tentative. In the thesis, this you are talking about the thesis में आपका जो tentative chapter wise scheme रहेगी वो क्या रहेगी? What is that? Introduction, review of literature, research methodology, interpretation of data, finding, conclusion, references, appendix. And नीचे इसके बाद references will be there. So this is all about synopsis writing. I hope it is clear to all. Any questions, any query, please ask.
Yeah. Hello, ma'am.
Acha.
Ma'am, you were talking about the model formation,
Yes.
and so that would be means we have to take out some model already that has been
No,
done, or
no.
we need to prepare add the variables. How we should proceed?
मैम एक्चुअली क्या है जो आपका रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर है उसमें आप ये देखेंगे कि व्हाट इज द टॉपिक दैट हैज नॉट बीन डन और आप उसके ऊपर नया क्या कर सकते हो, तो आप उस नए वेरिएबल्स को लेके आओगे. जैसे
नहीं, नए variables मैंने incorporate किया. Suppose there is some study has been done, which I came to know through the review of literature. But I did find that one or two variable which I do feel that should be the part of that is not there. So if I am incorporating that means my model had been revised.
yes.
That can be done, or I have to prepare from the very scratch.
No, you don't have to prepare from the very scratch. You can take some of the existing variables that has been used, but use them in a different manner कि आपका वो सारा का सारा एक नया मॉडल तैयार हो जाए.
Correct. Thank you.
Welcome. And any other question? Any other question?
Ma'am, do you have any book on whatever you are discussing here? Do you have you have done it in the somewhere in the written form or something like that, so that the students could be benefited? Because what I did find after joining your workshop, that for the PhD scholar that could be very beneficial, because they don't know the things, and even the guide does not provide the adequate time. So for the PhD scholars, that could be the wonderful.
So what I can do is like I can send you the notes. ये जो मैंने आपको अभी टी टेस्ट का बताया, how to write it with example, with explanation, and
Right.
even the SPSS file as well. I can send it to all of you. ये
Yeah.
कर
Thank
सकते
you.
हैं. And मेरी recordings तो हैं ही इसके ऊपर.
Right, ma'am. Thank you. But you have some book also, some documented book also?
No. I have never written a book. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share your mail ID also with us?
Yes.
Because that could be beneficial to us in case
Writing in the
we are
message
stuck
box.
somewhere, so we can. So you will share with the organizers or with us?
एक minute मैम. शालिनी अगर जी में हाँ जी. What you are saying मैम?
मैम आपने शायद दे दिए मुझे मेल आईडी.
हाँ मेल आईडी मैंने दे दिया आपको. मैं आपको what I will do is I'll share it with Bholanath sir and he'll
Right.
share either in the group or they can mail you as well.
Right, ma'am.
Yes.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome. Anything else?
थोड़ा लालची हो जाए मैम.
हाँ जी अंशु जी बताइए.
थोड़ा एक मोबाइल नंबर भी मिल जाएगा.
मोबाइल नंबर तो मेरा है ना इसके ऊपर ग्रुप में. You are not in the group?
अच्छा, okay.
Shalini Agarwal. But anyways, if you wanted, I can.
Hey, we don't disturb you, but sometimes if we are stuck too much कि हम बाहर ही नहीं आ पा रहे हैं तो maybe.
Okay, let me write it here.
Right.
Yes,
Ma'am, you
ma'am,
have
please,
some
Thanks
YouTube
for the
video.
हाँ जी एक जना बोले. हाँ जी बताइए.
Okay.
हाँ जी सुमित जी आप बताइए क्या बोल रहे हैं.
Very good evening, ma'am. As I
Good
was
evening.
traveling and coming back from my university to home, so I was not able to attend fully your lecture. So your mobile number will be a great help. Because if I'm having some difficulty while going through the recording, I can definitely contact you in that case. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. हाँ जी. Anything else? You're welcome. Anything else you want to know? I hope you like the session, all of you.
Right, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank
You're
you for being with us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, nice. So, if there is no any question, if there's not any question, so we can wind up the session.